There's a deck that I've had a surprising amount of fun with on MTGO, and it's Spirits. I build it a little aggressively because I like to play aggro, as you know. Let's talk about my build on Spirits in Pioneer on MTGO, and we're starting right now. Hello and welcome to the day. Thank you for spending your time with us. Welcome back to another episode of Jake and Joel Are Magic. I am Joel. If it's your first time watching a video of one of ours, we appreciate it. Thank you for joining us. If you want to stay up to the minute with the latest decks and strategy for Pioneer, Commander, Historic, Standard, Brawl, you want to talk about MTG Finance news and specs, or you just want to see us open some booster packs, make sure to hit that subscribe button before you leave. Today, however, we are talking about Pioneer. Let's get over into the deck. We're going to go through the deck list a little bit and talk about how I built it way more aggressively than it could probably be built. And then we're going to show some gameplay and we'll wrap up at the end. As you can see, it's built pretty well like an aggro deck. I want it to curve out, have a 1-drop, have a 2-drop, have a 3-drop. The thing that I didn't really realize when I was building it and kind of reared its head as I was playing was exactly how much flash I've got in the deck. Nebelgast Herald, we've got Spell Queller, of course, we're running Rattle Chains, we're running Spectral Sailor. I found myself waiting until the end of my opponent's turn to play my creatures. So I could play a Spectral Sailor after their turn 1, assuming I was on the play. Play a Rattle Chains after their turn 2, because you don't always have to take advantage of the effects of some of these cards. Rattle Chains is a good one if you just need a 2-drop out to stay on curve and make sure that hopefully on turn 3, turn 4, you're going to play a Supreme Phantom or play a Empyrean Eagle and swing through. That's really what you want to do. I found that it was a much more tempo-y, kind of control-y react, get in 2 damage here, get in 3 damage here, you know, that kind of swinging, that kind of aggressive approach. It's almost like I was aggressively tempoing down my opponents. I've got the Rally of Wings in there as a finisher. I find that I thought this was going to be a big player when I first built the deck, but I find that it's one of the cards that I sideboard out first. These are actually the 6 cards that get sideboarded out depending specifically on what my matchup is. Negates are in there for board wipes because I just have, whenever I build a deck like this, I always have so much trouble with board wipes being the thing that absolutely stops me in my tracks, and I want to be able to at least hold those off if we can. Rally of Wings, as you can see, is a finisher. If you've got a Supreme Phantom or Empyrean Eagle on the field, you've already gotten everybody up, +1/+1. Rally of Wings is just going to provide that, 3 extra creatures on the field. That's 6 extra damage if you're going unblocked. Everything in this deck flies from Mausoleum Wanderer. Every single creature flies, and so you've already got built-in avoidance. As far as the sideboard goes, we've got Rest in Peace for Graveyard and Phoenix decks. We've got Aether Gust for Mono Red or Gruul decks. Disdainful Stroke is for some of the bigger combo decks. We've got Encase in Ice. This card has been huge, especially against decks that run the, what's the red dragon from Amonkhet? I forget what it's called right now. But the red dragon from Amonkhet that comes in and exerts to deal extra damage. Encase in Ice has absolutely been a showstopper in those matchups. Then we've got Mystical Dispute when we do have to go up against some counter magic. As far as counter magic, we already talked about the negates. We've got Spell Queller built in. Right now it's a 3 of. I've been kind of flopping back and forth. Empyrean Eagle as a 4 of or Spell Queller as a 3 of. Probably if I was a smart person and not a bad person or a bad deck builder, this would be 3 Empyrean Eagle and 4 Spell Queller. Past that, we've got Spectral Sailor drawing his cards, Mausoleum Wanderer. Mausoleum Wanderer, this card is so great, and it's pulled me out of a couple of jams. Counter the target or instant or sorcery. People in Pioneer are tapping out a lot. This is not a format that a lot of times goes long, and so if you can get 2 or 3 counters on Mausoleum Wanderer, which is pretty easy in this deck, as you can see, everything is a spirit, everything triggers that ability. This Hanged Executioner is even 2. Then you're able to counter that because they're not able to pay X. You know what? Let's jump into some gameplay and you can kind of see how the deck operates against 2 different matchups. Game 1, I played against a burn deck. Game 2, I played against some sort of combo deck. Check it out. We've got the gameplay here of our Spirits deck. We get lucky, we win the roll. We're not going to mulligan this hand. We got 4 lands. We got 2 2-drops and a 3-drop. Seems good to me. We do kind of want to go 1 2 3-drop with the aggro build with the Rally of Wings in the main board for game 1, but you know, it is what it is. We see a Mutavault, we draw a 5th land. We don't really love a 5th land there. We really wanted that to be a Spirit. However, on their EOT, we can cast Rattle Chains and get some board position going. But they activate Mutavault, and we're like, all right, let's just maybe play a little loose here. Flash in the Rattle Chains. They probably weren't expecting it. We kill the Mutavault, and we take them off a land. Seems pretty good to me. Now we're on 3 lands. They're at 2. They play 2 and pass. We don't have to spell Quell anything, so we can play Spectral Sailor, and then we can play a Rattle Chains to back that up, and we've got some serious board position going. If we draw like a Supreme Phantom next turn, we're just going to be swinging through, and we're going to start to get some damage going. However, they Wild Slash the Rattle Chains, they Wild Slash the Spectral Sailor. What can you do? Wild Slash, strictly better shock. It is. We see a Soulscar Mage. We want to keep the tempo down still, so we go ahead and Spell Quell the Soulscar Mage. It'll keep him off that creature. That'll be consistent damage. They have a Lightning Strike. Okay, so far, all of our spirits have been removed. That's fine. Draw a Rally of Wings. Don't really love that, so we can play our Mutavault. At the very least, we've got a blocker if we need it. We can start attacking if they swing through with our Soulscar Mage. We see a spirit, we play a spirit. So it's a selfless spirit, you know, it doesn't flash. Now we see Glorybringer. This is a card that in the main board Game 1 version of the deck, it's not very well equipped to handle Glorybringer. Glorybringer can blow us out. That's why we've got Encase in Ice in the sideboard. Rally of Wings, though, it's going to be a 2-for-1 in our opponent's favor, but we decide since they don't exert the Glorybringer to just go ahead and block with the spirit, buff it so that it can kill the dragon, and say go. You know, it's I'd rather the Glorybringer not be on the field than be swinging through every time and have the option of killing things. Chandra resolves. We can't really do much about that. We've got to let it do its thing. They tick up. They lose a Rabblemaster, which is great. That goes into exile, and we don't have to deal with it because they couldn't cast it that turn. So essentially here we're in top deck mode. We really want good draws. We don't want any more lands. We can tick down. I think that the swing with the Soulscar was a little loose on their part, especially because we can swing with the Mutavault. We can take her down 3, keep her from being able to do damage, just exile top cards, and we get lucky and they brick on that next one. They take her up. We see Torbrand. We say no to Torbrand. Spellquell Torbrand is exactly what we want to do, and they concede. We probably were about to turn a corner there. I think that's a little bit of a quick concede from our opponent, but obviously we are not going to turn our opponents down when our opponents say, you know what, you can have this one. Rally of Wings and Negate are normally the first 6 cards that you look at cutting specific to the matchup. We obviously want Encase in Ice because we're just not well built to deal with Glorybringer. We take out 3 Rally of Wings. I really like the Negate left in there because Chandra can be hit. A Lightning Strike or something critical can be hit. We start opening hand and we get our sideboard card, our best 3-drop, and then some good 3-drops to back it up. We know on turn 2 we're going to be playing Encase in Ice anyway, so here we can go turn 1, tapped Hallowed Fountain, turn 2, Encase in Ice. We see a Port Town, we're like, whatever, we'll go ahead and play that. Now, they'll play a Soulscar Mage, and still, at this point, we're not worried about them comboing with the Soulscar Mage and doing, 20 damage in one turn. So we're just going to play the Hallowed Fountain tapped and pass. They can't play the Glorybringer yet, which is what we're saving the Encase in Ice for. It seems that all we can draw is land right now, but what this means is we're on 3 and we can start playing things. They're on 2 lands. They can't play Glorybringer, so we don't need to stay open for Encase in Ice. But what we can do is start baiting that removal out of their hands so that our good creatures, Herald and Spellqueller, can stay and stick and be nuisances forever. And that's exactly what happens. They stomp the Hanged Executioner. It leaves a spirit behind residually. And then something very interesting happens. We draw a second Encase in Ice. Now we can cast Encase in Ice on the Giant, say, because we've got one still in reserve in case they cast a dragon. Here, we could have encased the Giant in Ice before they swung because we were going to do it anyway. However, they had 4 mana, we had the Spell Queller, and we wanted to stay back and see if maybe we could counter whatever they were going to play. They end up, however, it ends up being the wrong decision, but I still would have made that decision to see what they were going to play second main, even if all they end up doing is swinging and passing. Now we're in a really good position. We've got Spell Queller, Spectral Sailor, and Nebelgast Herald. We can tap their things down. We can encase the dragon in ice if we see that. We can Spell Quell something that we just don't want to hit the battlefield. Here we can get more board presence going while at the same time keeping them from attacking this turn. And this is a big turning point. If that Herald can stick around, then we're going to be able to do some really annoying things. Supreme Phantom here is a great top deck, especially because we can play it and still have 4 mana untapped, meaning enough mana for a Spell Queller and a Spectral Sailor in case they sneak some stuff by us. They do end up trying to Wild Slash the Herald. So, we make the decision to go ahead and Spell Quell the Wild Slash because we don't want that Herald at this point to die. We think that if we can protect it, especially with them being at 2 cards in hand, then we can turn a corner and completely take control of this game. Supreme Phantom lands, Spell Queller lands. We can swing in for 5 here and start the Pain Train rolling. We do find that they have a Lightning Strike though, so our Lord is going to get hit, which is fine because on the Spell Queller that would have been worse, but we had the Lord effect, so it was out of range, which was nice. But then we see the Glorybringer, and this is what we were worried about. This is why we had to stay untapped with at least 1 mana and the Herald on the field. Spectral Sailor can flash in, tap that thing down before attacks, and we are in a fantastic position now because we can encase the dragon in ice. They don't have any flyers. They have 0 cards in hand. Soulscar Mage maximum is going to be able to do 4 damage swinging at us, so we can just fully swing out, get them down to 9, and then before they move into their attack step here, we're going to encase the Glorybringer in ice, and that's going to be pretty backbreaking, so much so that they concede. Next matchup I wanted to show y'all, we ended up playing a combo deck. What we eventually learned was a combo deck. Weird combo deck, but some kind of combo nonetheless. Our opening hand only had 1 land, so we're not going to keep that. Our second hand has a 1-drop, a 2-drop, and a 3-drop, and they're all really good creatures, so we are definitely keeping this. We can Port Town on turn 1, which is awesome. We are going to be able to flash the Sailor in at the end of their turn. Little information as possible. That's the name of the game. We've got a Selfless Spirit to drop. Once we hit that, full board, drop the Selfless Spirit on top of there, and it protects us from board wipes. Love that. We see a Mana Confluence, and now we're having a quick start, and so a Mana Confluence is just going to be helping us at this point, and we love that. So here we have enough mana for a Spell Queller, or both the Spectral Sailor and the Selfless Spirit at the end of their turn. We've got a lot of options here. They have the Thermo Alchemist going. They've got some kind of crash through thing going. We're not sure yet what to Spell Quell. I'm not familiar with this deck. Honestly, it's unlike anything I've ever seen up to this point. Now I've seen it. But it's some kind of Thermo Alchemist, play cantrip cards kind of thing, and so we're like, all right, well, let's stop the whole draw a card thing. That's fine. You did another damage to us with your Thermo Alchemist. We see an Aether Hub. We're like, all right, well, I guess they can cast 1 more, but they don't. They pass. We see a second Supreme Phantom. But at this point, a second Supreme Phantom is pretty unnecessary. We've got 6 power on the battlefield. They're at 7. We can play Selfless Spirit, and that represents lethal on the battlefield, or protects us from a board wipe. And we still have enough mana to flash in a Spectral Sailor at the EOT if they do happen to wipe the board. They play Carmetra's Favor on the Thermo Alchemist. It's, now it can add mana. So now they're going to be able to add mana with it and play their cantrips with the mana that it creates. But I guess the combo doesn't go off, and so they concede. And like we said, we're never going to let an opponent not tell us that we can have the game. So we've got some options here. We can either encase that Thermo Alchemist in ice so that it doesn't untap, which seems like a good option. We can Aether Gust it back if we need a tempo play. We've also got the negates. We take a Rally of Wings out, and that puts us at 60. So all we really do there is bring in the 3 encase in ice, and we happen to see it in our opening hand. Now, this is a rough keep, but we don't really want to go down to 6. However, we do, and we get lucky. We've got good 3-drops here. We just kind of are going to have to sit around until turn 3 unless we get lucky with our draws, but we're not going to go down to 5 past this, and we can Spell Quell, hopefully, whatever it is that is their big combo payoff. They've got a weird on the battlefield now that's going to be pumping and going, but I don't think that it's going to be able to like just go crazy without any kind of untapping shenanigans. And so, you know, we're fine with it. We see a Mausoleum Wanderer, and now we can start playing some stuff. This is excellent. Next turn, we're going to be able to spell Queller. Mausoleum Wanderer will get bigger, and our opponent concedes. Now, let's go ahead and take a look. We do draw the Supreme Phantom. I'm going to pause it right here. We draw a Supreme Phantom, so the next turn we were either going to be able to stay open for a Spell Queller, which is probably what we would have done, is stay open for either a Herald or a Spell Queller, because we can tap down the weird, or we can counter whatever it is that they're trying to do. And then the turn after that, we can drop the Supreme Phantom. That would have the Mausoleum Wanderer at 3 counters, and 3 power on the battlefield on either the Herald or the Queller, and we would start swinging through for 6 with a Spell Queller to back up the team. So as you can see, it's not a straight up aggro deck where we're just like jamming creatures 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got a little bit of decision making to it. Nebelgast Herald, I've just loved. That's probably a card that could come up to a 4 of. Rattlechains has been not as high performing for me because of the kind of lack of a ton of interaction, at least in my play testing of this. So maybe down 1 Rattlechains, up a Nebelgast Herald, maybe down an Empyrean Eagle, up a Spell Queller as far as where I would take this moving forward. Also, Rally of Wings. I'm not 100% sure if the deck actually needs it. It's a dope finisher when you can cast it, but also some more interaction might be better in that slot. I appreciate everybody watching. Let me know what changes you would make to this, or what changes you have made to your Spirit Tribal deck in Pioneer. I actually think it's got some legs. Kind of a pun. It doesn't have legs, it has wings, or at least the ability to float in the air. Let me know what you've done with your deck. I want to keep playing with this deck because like I said, I've had a surprising amount of fun playing it. We appreciate everybody watching. Like I said, if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, it really helps us out. If you want to hang out with us further, we are streaming most Tuesday and Thursday evenings over on Twitch. And if you want to support us further, we got a Patreon. The link is down in the description below. Till next time, catch you later.